One of the most prolific, groundbreaking voices coming out of the A, 2Chainz has secured his spot on the Trap Mount Rushmore, and today we're ranking the projects that got him there. Note, this list will not include any EPs, mixtapes, or group projects, only albums listed as solo LPs. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe buttons while you're here. Let's get to it. Number 7, Dope Don't Sell Itself. T.R.U's most recent release, Dope Don't Sell Itself, was prefaced as his last trap album. For his sake, we hope not. Peaking at number 23 on the Hot 100, his lowest placement to date, the project shows a noticeable decline in the pioneer's commercial appeal. Mixed to negative reviews would also severely impact the album's critical standing. Once revered as a gravitational figure in the soundscape of hip-hop, Dope Don't Sell Itself uses the majority of its 12 features as a crutch while abandoning the structure that saw projects like Pretty Girls Like Trap Music and Rapper Go to the League getting widespread acclaim. His chemistry with the features feels uncomfortable, the track list is inconsistent, and his stifled creativity leads to the lowest replay value of his career. Bet It Back and Free BG work well with the album's concept, but to have so many high-profile artists putting out their best music outside of the project, we hope that some of these collabs were more reminiscent of that 2012 to 2016 Chainz. His incorporation of trap's biggest names, i.e. 42 Dugg, Moneybagg, and Durk, feel forced, failing to reach a new audience and isolating the core one. The project wasn't a total wash though. We got to give our props to Manny Fresh, Swimmer, and Buddha Bless behind the boards, with the latter lacing the Little Baby assisted Kingpin Ghostwriter. When looking at his most successful projects, a pattern tends to present itself. Usually we get appearances from some combination of Wayne, Drake, Ty Dolla $ign, and Travis Scott, along with a soulful feature from an artist like Marsha Ambrosius, Monica, or John Legend. And most importantly, production by Mike Will Made It, Pharrell, or Honorable C Note. 2Chainz, if you're watching this, hit your boy up for them A&R duties. Number 6, B.O.A.T.S 2, Me Time. Falling short of the influence and impact of its predecessor, B.O.A.T.S 2 would debut at number 3 behind 63,000 copies sold in its first week, a sharp decline commercially from its prior release. Joints like Feds Watching, Used To, So We Can Live, and the Outroduction kept the project afloat, but couldn't fully hide the shortcomings. Some tracks on here aren't even serviceable, such as that collab with Fergie, Netflix, Extra with Rich Homie, and Mainstream Ratchet. We would, however, get some solid features from T-Pain, Pharrell, Chrisette Michele, and even a surprise appearance from Mace. Lead single Feds Watching would peak at number 66 on the Hot 100, signaling the album's commercial underperformance. After all, No Lie, I'm Different, and Birthday Song would all peak within the top 50, with the former even making it to 24. Mike Will Made It and Drummer Boy reprised their roles behind the boards, while Honorable C Note, Manny Fresh, Pharrell, and Justice League all add to the second installment. I Do It saw peak Wayne and Drake's impact on full display, making us wonder how Chainz's vocals ended up on the final cut. Ultimately, we acknowledge the shoes this album had to fill were pretty substantial. Still, it failed to come close to the level of playability, influence, or innovation of his debut, being one of the more significant sophomore slumps we've covered recently. We'll chalk it up to high standards and growing pains. Luckily, after this point, we would see Chainz at his most prolific. More on that in a minute. Number 5, So Help Me God. One of the Atlanta Vet's more bittersweet albums, So Help Me God had the elements of a great 2Chainz album, despite falling short in its execution. With 10 of the album's 12 features landing in between tracks 3 and 9, we get a top-heavy DJ Khaled-esque project. It just feels like whoever was calling the shots on the album structuring missed the mark one too many times. That Free Lighter beat and theme had Wayne's name written all over it, yet he ended up making minimal contributions on Moneymaker. Ziploc was one of the harder-hitting tracks on the album, and Gates did his thing for sure, but why have Push on your label if you don't tap him for features about making bricks lock? Not to mention the Young Boy and Lotto features that didn't do the album's chemistry any favors. I mean, we get it. 6 albums in would be a difficult position for any artist to maneuver, trying to maintain what your core audience expects from you while broadening your commercial and artistic aspirations. We're not mad at the effort. It just feels anticlimactic to have gems like Lambo Wrist, Feel Away, and 55 Times on here without a clear narrative structure for them to follow. Peaking at number 15 on the charts, this would be T.R.U's first album to miss the top 5. Its 27K unit first week sales would also be his lowest up to that point. This stands out all the more when seeing that some of his best work directly precedes it, with Pretty Girls Like Trap Music and Rapper Go to the League dropping respectively. Got to give a shout out to Almighty Sosa though. That production on Free Lighter demonstrates just how many tricks the living legend has up his sleeve. Number 4, ColleGrove. If it wasn't for Wayne, it wouldn't be. The opening line on this homage to the icon sums the project up to a T. Originally intended to be a collab album with Tunechi, contractual obligations kept Wayne from being credited as primary artist. That doesn't stop him from appearing on 8 of the album's 12 tracks. Keeping the vocal vocals to just the two of them, Chainz and Wayne got beats from the likes of Southside, Honorable C Note, Mike Will Made It, Zaytoven, Metro, and London on the track, with most of the album's sonic inspiration clearly coming out of the A. Rumors of the project initially started swirling around 2013 after the release of the single Twerk Season. Official confirmation came from 2Chainz back in November of 15 on the Rap Radar podcast. Combining Wayne's wordplay and Chainz's conceptual foresight led to one of the most seamless collaborative efforts you'll ever hear on WAC. With their working relationship dating back to 2007, it's no wonder their rapport was off the charts. Some tracks that stood out to us were Bentley Truck, Bounce, and Blue C Note, although there aren't any particular weak songs on the project. As of 2022, a sequel has been confirmed to be in the works with no release date at the moment of this recording. Fingers crossed we get the two of them on their duffel bag talk. As previously mentioned, 2Chainz has some big dog mixtapes. Do us a favor, throw us a comment with your favorite 2Chainz mixtape or EP, either one. All right, back to the list. Number 3, based on a true story. This will probably be polarizing. Don't get us wrong, we know the album deals with its own problems for sure, but we just can't deny the impact and influence B.O.A.T.S had since dropping. Tracks 2 through 6 all have legitimate arguments as catalog staples. No Lie, Birthday Song, and I'm Different all laid the groundwork for an impressive 150,000 album sales performance, grabbing his only #1 debut to date. Notable features include Young Money's heavyweight trio, Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, alongside label mates Kanye West and John Legend. We've got some big names behind the boards too, incorporating production from Southside, Bangladesh, Mike Will, and an up-and-coming DJ Mustard, just to name a few. With that being said, we've got a couple of tweaks of our own. The album's intro boasts a Wayne feature, despite relegating him to a lazy and forgettable hook, no verse, and the album's third act loses a little bit of steam as well. On a brighter note, it's always cool to see solo acts bringing the band back together, like Chainz did featuring Dollar Boy on Stop Me Now. Despite receiving its fair share of criticism, the album would grab his only Grammy nomination for Rap Album of the Year. We're gonna give Mr. Epps his props on this one. The project epitomized the potential behind a successful rebrand, ushering in a new age of what we'll coin second half rappers. Artists who enjoyed acclaim and achievements in groups or earlier eras, with renewed success in this trap-dominant lane reaching younger audiences, giving artists like Juicy J, E40, and Fat Joe resurgence in the twilights of their careers. This shift in age dynamics has extended the longevity expectations of rap across the board. Based on a True Story would go on to be one of Chainz's 2 platinum certified albums. He knew he had to go big or go home. Number 2, rap or go to the league. No question, Chainz's 5th studio album is clearly his most ambitious and creative. With arguably the greatest baller of all time, LeBron James, trying his hand in A&R duties, we get an interesting conceptualization of the rapper go to the league motif. Selling 65K units in its first week, the project would debut at number 4 on the charts, his last placement within the top 10. In totality, it's easily one of his most complete works. With features ranging from Young Thug and Ariana Grande to Kendrick Lamar and Chance the Rapper, the album's execution is only rivaled by its unpredictability. We get Chainz dropping gems on Statute of Limitations, letting prosecutors know he's truly made the leap to legitimacy. Whip sees him and Trav solidifying their dynamic 1-2 punch. Can't forget Marsha Ambrossia's flawless vocals on the daunting intro Unforgiven. It's a couple joints on here that we surprisingly weren't feeling too much. $2 Bill with Wayne and E40 didn't hit the way we expected, following our anticipation for the collab coming off their beautifully executed ColleGrove. High Top Versace also feels like two artists at their peaks who just couldn't make it work, with the Thug-assisted track sounding misplaced here. Ultimately, we have to acknowledge the album playing to Tauheed's strengths in ways that only 1 or 2 projects have. I'm Not Crazy Life Is, on paper, has a strange pairing with Chance and Kodak accompanying Chainz on the track, but we found it to be one of Chainz's most underrated songs across his catalog. We think the album's underlying strength can be attributed to its execution and carrying over concepts from the #1 album on our list. Number 1, Pretty Girls Like Trap Music. The first of his studio albums to not feature Lil Wayne, Pretty Girls Like Trap Music debuted at number 2 behind his strongest first week sales since Based on a True Story. Production, subject material, delivery, the self-labeled Drench God was firing on all cylinders with his 2017 LP. If you're watching this video, we're sure you know how impactful songs like It's a Vibe, Good Drink, and 4 AM are when discussing Chainz's discography. But revisiting this project gave us a new appreciation for sleepers like Trap Check, Burglar Bars, and Rolls Royce Bitch. Chainz gets arguably the best production of his career heard from juggernauts Mike Dean, Buddha Bless, Murder Beats, and Mike Will. Through Tauheed's utilization of features, versatile delivery, and progressive elevation, we get the culmination of the trapper turned gentleman persona that he had carefully cultivated 4 albums into his career. There's not much to nitpick on the album, as it received universal acclaim, projecting it towards the top of a lot of year-end lists. In essence, the line separating this collection of trap music from the ones that came before and after is the attention to detail. Leaving no stone unturned, Chainz used every ounce of his potential to the fullest, making his most cohesive and encompassing album to date. That's it for this one, Culturalists. If you made it to the end, don't forget, leave a comment with your favorite 2Chainz mixtape or EP. Also, subscribe if you feel like our content is for you, and tap in next week as we do another cultural deep dive. Once again, it's your man CJ Williams with CT. I'm out.